Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of 97th Heaven. Now tonight, I'm sure you're thinking that I will be doing a WCW review, but technically I won't, will I? Because this review is a review of the first, and that's right, only NWO pay-per-view. This is NWO Souled Out from January 1997. Now, some interesting thoughts before we get on to this one. So, before we go on, before I tell you anything about this matches or anything, was this pay-per-view a success? Because you can see where Bischoff was coming from with this one, can't you? You could see that he wanted to create two brands. He wanted to create WCW and he wanted to create NWO. So they had two factions so that they could have inter-promotional things, you know? And he thought to himself, well, if I can put on an NWO pay-per-view and it's a success, yeah, then I can put on two pay-per-views a month. I can therefore double the potential pay-per-view buy rate, double the potential money and income coming into the company, can he not? So, with that said, Starrcade 96 with Hulk Hogan versus Roddy Piper on top drew a quite respectable 0.95 buy rate. Not bad at all. This show, a month later, it pulled a 0.47, so that should tell you straight away that the fans, as much as they loved the NWO, and let's be honest, that they did, the ratings were up across the board, buy rates were up on the pay-per-views, live attendance was going up to astronomical levels, but at the end of the day, what you've got to remember, I've just got to get this off my chest before we go on, is that as good as the NWO were, they were still bad guys, alright? They were still heels, and wrestling has always relied on that it's the baby faces that the people want to see. They're the ones that they want to cheer. And at the end of the day, if you're putting across a product where you're constantly telling us that WCW suck, which was the NWO's whole mantra, wasn't it? Is that WCW suck. God damn, we're told it enough times on this show. I'll tell you that much before we go on. Is that, you know, if you're told WCW, you know, if me as a fan sat watching at home was being told WCW sucked over and over again, and then you see evidence of the WCW sucks, why should I care? You know, I've always been plagued by this whole thing of the NWO going to have their own things. So it's like, well, who would they fight? You know, bad guys need good guys to wrestle against. That's just an obvious fact, isn't it? Anyway, shall we get on? So, this show opens with the NWO riding around on garbage trucks. I have no idea why. In his book, Controversy Creates Cash, Bischoff says that, you know, you sometimes see people riding around in limos to get into the arena. This time, they were riding around on garbage trucks. He also mentioned that it was freezing cold as well, but more for him for riding around in an open-top vehicle at the end of the day. The usual bright lights, the usual colours, sets, things like that, they were replaced with black. There is no colour in this show at all. The ring is black, the ropes are black, the referee's wearing black. You know, he's got an NWO t-shirt. I mean, Nick Patrick's doing the refereeing for all of them, yeah? So Nick Patrick is wearing a black NWO t-shirt and a black hat. The whole set is black. It's all just black. And of course, there's a lot of NWO shirts in the fans as well. So, shall we get on with it? So, Masahiro Chono defeated Jericho in a good match to start us off. Now, this was a 3-star match. You know, I promise you that. So Jericho comes out to absolutely no music, and this was before he was the Ayatollah of rock and roll or anything like that. He was just plain old smiling babyface Chris Jericho. And he's pretty over with the crowd, to be fair. Chono, of course, gets music, and the announcer puts him over something rotten. And this is, you know, I'm mentioning this because this will be, of course, for the rest of the show. The WCW guy gets nothing apart from a really patronising thing from the computerised announcer they've got, whereas the NWO guy gets put over something rotten. Anyway, Nick Patrick is the ref. As I've said, WCW are shown arriving in the crowd. Chono controls in a manner most heelish from the start, including complaining to the ref and asking for a test of Trent and then kicking Jericho in the balls, etc, etc. Jericho comes back with a suplex and a plancher. Then Chono goes back to controlling Jericho while the crowd chants USA, and Bischoff really makes me smile because he says, every time the crowd chants USA, he's like, yep, well done, you know where you are. It's like, yes, that's something I've been saying for years. I've never understood the USA chant, ever. Do not get it. Anyway, Jericho hits an insecure, which Bischoff calls a jump back leg round kick. No idea why. I don't know what he's trying to achieve. He does this a lot. I'll mention it, I promise you. Chono locks on an STF. Jericho then gets 2 off a German suplex. Chono hits a reverse DDT and atomic drop that gets a table out. He tries to suplex Jericho onto it, but Jericho counters and hits a missile dropkick and a lion salt. I should point out that Chono, you remember I mentioned he put an STF on, yeah? All this match, Chono had been working the knee of Jericho. So both times that Jericho landed off the Integrity and the lion salt, Jericho sold the knee. Both times. That's one of the reasons why this match is rated as high as it is, because of the psychology in it and it's so well. Anyway, Jericho goes up top, but he's pushed through the table inside a Yakuza kick, gets the win for Chono. Good opener, nice psychology, and some good spots. Give this one a 3-star rating. Then our announcers, we haven't got Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan and the Professor. No. We've got Bischoff and Ted DiBiase. So they go through some of the Miss NWO entrants. Oh my gentle lord, one of the running themes of this show is that we've got the Miss NWO. Now once again I'm having to refer to Bischoff's book for this one because I don't understand the logic in it, and I felt like the only person who actually could make sense of this was to reread the section about this pay-per-view from Eric Bischoff's book. Like I say, it's called Controversy Creates Cash. It's a load of bollocks, by the way. It really is. He spins the truth something fierce. But you know, he says in this one that excuse me, they have pageants in America. No idea why. We don't have them over here in England, but we just don't see the point in the better things to do with our time. Anyway, they always have the most beautiful women. So Bischoff's idea was that the NWO would have ugly women for their pageant. Now, I don't understand this at all. Surely a heel group who are meant to be really, really cool would have the hottest women available there, but no. Anyway, yeah, the fans chant boring while this is going on, which should tell you straight away how badly each of these segments is going to go. Oh, and also I need to point out that 2 things. Firstly, is that the entire NWO beauty pageant women, to become Miss NWO, have got about 1 brain cell between them, which is funny. And also, the other thing that needs to be mentioned is that there's a house band that I've gone, in just this moment, conveniently forgotten what they're called, but they're terrible. That needs to be pointed out. So next, Big Bubba, who you remember, I'm sure, as Big Boss Man, or Big Bubba Rogers back in the NWA days. Anyway, defeated Hugh Morris in a crap Mexican death match. So, generic brawling at the start. The only good thing to come off the brawling at the start, is Nick Patrick, who really makes me chuckle because he's healing it up, and he's not just healing it up to the wrestlers and to the crowd, he's healing it up to the camera. He's looking into the camera and telling you, the fan at home, the decisions he's making, which I think is brilliant. I really, really do. Oh, and Nick Patrick blatantly ignores 2 low blows. Bubba gets a chain and batters Hugh with it. Hugh gets it and knocks out Bubba with it. Moonsault, but Mike, I don't know why I said Mike, but Nick can't quite count up to 10 because he's got that dodgy shoulder and all that. More brawling with Bubba calling the spots, I noticed. The brawl ends up on the ramp. Morris then goes for an awful looking moonsault off some steps that misses. So Bubba, and you've never seen this one, we'll give this one points for originality, is that he gets a Harley Davidson down by the ringside and basically runs Hugh Morris over. I say runs over with it. He basically drives into Hugh Morris's shoulder, but that's enough to run him over. And then basically Bubba rushes back to the ring and Nick Patrick counts Hugh Morris out, and that is the win. So that, for me, ladies and gentlemen, because it was rubbish, is a straight, clear and cut dud. If you want to give it half a star, right, for the original finish, I won't blame you. So should we go from in between? Should we say a 1/4 star for originality with the finish? Rest of it bollocks. So then, some guy called Jeff Katz, and if you can inform me who that is, no idea. We're not told. We just, Bischoff says, over to Jeff Katz. I'm sorry, English guy, not meant to know who Jeff Katz is. He tries to talk, he talks to some more of the Miss NWO contests. They're so dumb, it's not even funny. Next, Jarrett defeats Michael Wallstreet in a crap match, if I'm sure you all know who Wallstreet is, but Mike Wallstreet is the man that you used to call IRS, or Mike Rotunda, back when he was in the Embassy Club. The Embassy Club, am I right about that? Well, I'm not at all. I can't remember what they were called. The faction in the 80s. Scott Steiner was in it. The Varsity Club. Embassy, Varsity, 3 syllables. I can't believe that Wallstreet is in the NWO. I mean, one of the points I'm going to mention at the end of this video is how watered down the NWO felt by this point. But come on, if they let someone like Michael Wallstreet in, who wouldn't they let in? Really? Anyway, match is slow paced and full of storing. Mongo and Deborah McMichael look concerned in the crowd. Both men put on sleepers. Bischoff calls. Bischoff calls a kick to the stomach a back leg front kick. Remember what I said? Is he doing these just to wind me up, do you reckon? Just so it's more for me to write out. Anyway, another sleep by Wallstreet as Deborah begs Mongo to get in the ring and help out. Jeff Jarrett comes back with an atomic drop and a suplex. He puts on a figure 4. And, oh man, one of the best things I've ever seen a referee do. Nick Patrick heals it up even more, yeah, by grabbing Wallstreet and pulling him to the ring. He was in the middle of the ring in the figure 4. Patrick pulls him to the ropes. And the thing is, Jarrett, like a gullible face that he is, fucking lets go of it like a fool. Abdominal stretch by Wallstreet until Mongo gets in the ring and he hits Wallstreet with a briefcase. He then forces referee to count the 3. But this match was pure horrible with literally one good moment. And literally, do you know what I'm thinking this the whole time, right? I reckon I've watched pretty much every Botchamania vid that Mafu has ever done, yeah? I've never, stop that! I've never, ever seen him actually in person in the ring. This is the first time I've ever seen him. And that's the whole thing I was thinking during this match. I'm not interested in the match at all. It's a dud. Then we get some more hilarity with that Cats guy and the Miss NWO hotties, including one who looks like she doesn't have a clue where she is. And when asked who, you know, what they're getting asked questions about what they like to do with the wrestlers and stuff like that. She doesn't know who the wrestler is in question. So there we go, all good fun. Then we get to see the pleasure, and I mean pleasure like pleasure, of the house band performing a song that sounds like it's called New World Order. It consists of the lead singer shouting New World Order a lot. The crowd are completely indifferent, as you can probably imagine, and they're thinking probably what I was thinking at the time, thinking to myself, I paid for this. Because imagine if you bought this on pay-per-view, you were watching it, one good match so far, a couple of utterly bollocks matches, this whole Miss NWO Pageant bollocks, and then you've got this band singing, you're thinking, just get on with it, I want to see some wrestling, fuck. Buff Bagwell defeats Scotty Riggs in a match. Nothing to know until Riggs hits a nice belly-to-belly suplex. The action goes back and forth. Nothing to note. No, the word right. Whenever Scotty Riggs is in trouble, e.g., whenever Buff Bagwell's in control, the word "loser" is played over the PA system. Not sure how I feel about that one. I mean, it's a nice little touch. They're obviously mocking them, but it's like, yeah, it's getting annoying now. Yeah, after like the 5th time, it's just like, yeah, stop it now, please. Riggs, Gutbuster gets 2 for Bagwell, then a camera on a... Oh yeah, that's another thing about this one. I should have mentioned this before this, yeah. Around the ring, there's a guy, and he's got a camera on a boom mic. So basically, the camera is about where, if you were standing on the top turnbuckle, yeah, that's how high up the camera is. And this guy is walking around with the camera on a pole. The thing is that this camera easily records better quality footage than the camera that they had on top of the boom. It's really distracting. It's really, really not good. You'd think, when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's an interesting idea. But then the second time I saw it, it's like, that footage is really bad, isn't it? And then after that, it just got irritating. And I found it distracting when I was watching it in the ring. I was just like, oh yeah, the boom mic's there. I hope they cut to that next. Very, very irritating. Powerbomb by Buff gets 2, followed by a fucking chinlock. And it's a long chinlock. Electric chair drop by Riggs and a roll-up gets 2 Insiguri and an absolutely stunning tornado DDT gets there by Riggs. He gets a sloppy-looking power. He hits a sloppy-looking power bomb for 2. He goes for a superplex, but it's counted in the first ever, and it actually is the first ever time you see the blockbuster by Buff. That gets the 3. This is a 1-star match, and that whole 1-star comes from that last little sequence there. The rest of the match is completely ignorable. You can go and do something else, and you won't miss anything at all. Jeff Katz talks to more dumb bints. The crowd are silent throughout. Bischoff then shills the NWO hotline. Yes, on a pay-per-view. Come on, don't want to be doing that. Next, Scott Norton defeated DDP in a crap match. How the hell did Norton not only win the IWGP title once, but twice? He's not really championship material. The thing is, in America he wasn't, but in Japan he was seen as a main eventer. I've never quite understood that one, to be honest. Really, really haven't. Nothing of note whatsoever at all until Page hits a nice face buster and calls for Diamond Core. Norton counters with a jawbreaker and we see Sting up in yonder rafters. Norton hits a shoulder breaker and controls on the outside as the word loser is said over the announce system again. Actually, no, I say again, but it happens in pretty much every match. You know, at any point, when the guy who isn't in the NWO, let's say when the face is in fucking trouble, you hear the word loser over and over again. Page hits a clothesline off the top for 2, but then loads of the NWO B team come out and offer DDP a spot in the NWO. He takes a shirt off them and then cleans house, which gets the biggest pop of the night so far. DDP celebrates in the crowd, but of course the match is still going on, so Nick Patrick counts out DDP, so Norton wins by count out. Yay! What did I give that one? Because I'm nice. Oh wait, I gave it a dud. Nothing of note whatsoever. The Steiners then defeated the Outsiders in an OK match to win the tag team titles. You know, this is a 2-star match. So Hall controls Scott Steiner from the start, including an abdominal stretch. Scott comes back with a nice belly-to-belly suplex, which the crowd really like. They pop hard for that suplex. Hall gets 2 off a fall-away slam on Rick, then a choke slam on Scott. Hall then tags in Nash, and me and the guys who are watching this start taking bets on how many bumps Nash will take in this match. I say, do you know, I think I'm going to go with 4 bumps. So, he gets belly to belly by Scott straight away. There's 1. Let's keep a track of how many bumps he takes, shall we? But Scott then tags in Rick, who punches Nash off his feet. 2. Rick then plays Ricky Morton, you face in peril, to the Outsiders. Seems like they beat down last an absolute age. Rick gets the living snot kicked out of him. It really does. Scott has some words for some NWO fans outside as Rick low blows Nash. Scott then clotheslines him. 3 bumps. Scott gets a hot tag to a big pop on cleans house, including clotheslining Nash twice and an underhook powerbomb on Hall and a massive, and it is, back suplex on Nash, which by my count makes Nash's bump count up to 7. Good grief. Ref gets bumped, raises edge, no ref. Bulldog off the top by Rick Steiner, and Randy Anderson, who had been sat in the crowd with the WCW guys, comes in and makes the cover for the 3. The match was so much better than I was expecting this to be tossed. I don't know why, but I just was expecting this one to be really bad. And it wasn't. It wasn't a bad match at all. It was a 2, maybe 2.5 star. I'm giving it 2, but yeah, if you gave it 2.5 stars, wouldn't object at all. And of course, it's been WCW, and of course, it's been the NWO's reign of terror. The very next night on Nitro, Bischoff reversed the decision. But hey, I don't watch Nitro, so that's not my concern. Hey, so not many more to go. In fact, we've got two more matches to go because I have been waffling. I can tell my throat's starting to get a bit dry, you know. And then the only match on this card that I've seen before is this next one, as Eddie Guerrero defeated Syxx in a good and best match of the night, by the way, ladder match to retain the United States Championship. Now, I'm sure some of you, maybe all of you, maybe many of you, maybe just a few of you have seen this one before because this one's on the Rise and Fall of WCW DVD. Oh yes. So Eddie is introduced as a Mexican jumping bean, which is nice. Syxx comes out with the belt, even though Eddie's the champion, because apparently he had stolen it at Starrcade 96. No one tells you that instead. The announcers don't bother telling you that. I had to go and find that out. I was like, hang on. If Eddie's the champion, why is Syxx coming out with the belt? You know, I do my research. I don't know. Matches back and forth until Eddie hits a nice tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and a plancher. Back and forth again, including a double stump by Syxx until Eddie gets suplexed over the top rope to the outside, which looks pretty nasty, it has to be said. He follows up with a suicide plancher. He gets a ladder, so there's that's the wrestling portion of this match out of the way. It's weapon shots all the way for the rest of this one. Both men take some pretty nasty bumps with the ladder, including Eddie landing knee first on it after a flapjack. Eddie dropkicks the ladder into Syxx and follows up with a superplex. Both men climb the ladder and Syxx does an amazing jumping kick to knock Eddie off. Naturally, Eric, I'm a fucking idiot Bischoff, calls this one... Oh, pants, I've lost my place now. He calls this kick an inverted side jump kick. No, sorry, an inverted jump side kick. I'm actually almost wishing at this point, by the way, that Tony Schiavone was there. I don't rate Tony Schiavone as an announcer at all. I think he's a damn fool, to be honest. Compared to someone like Gordon Soley or Jim Ross, he's just no. But, you know, at this point, I'm wishing he was there because Bischoff do my head in that much. They both climb, basically. The finish comes where they both climb up, yeah, and both grab the belt. And basically, this sort of tug and tug and tug with the belt. And Eddy basically smashes the belt into Syxx's face. They both go down, and basically Eddy picks up the belt off the mat, which is almost like what happened at TLC the other week, isn't it? So, yeah, match of the night. For sure, not bad at all. I mean, it's a 3.5-star match, and I've seen people, because what I do sometimes, when I've finished my notes, I will go and find some reviews of old shows. And so if you're on something like Amazon, you can find the old reviews and shit. I've seen this one get rated 4 stars out of 5. Not quite that good, but yeah, definitely back to the night. We then get the finals of the Miss NWO pageant thing. The winner gets to kiss Bischoff. The girls are all ugly as sin, which which if you believe Bischoff, yeah, like I say, it was the intention. It was the intention. I don't know what made him think this was a good idea, though. I really don't. Less said about it, the better. But all I can say is, A, it was fucking awful. I think I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. I might sneeze in a second. Yeah, A, it was fucking awful. And B, it was long. It was 20 minutes long, this segment. I was like, oh, please get on with it. Please get on with it. All these ugly women staring at the camera like with a, what the fuck am I doing here? Sort of look on their face. And like I say, Bischoff then max out, as you Americans say, with the ugliest, skankiest girl he can find. So we go on to the main event, and you can probably guess what this one's going to be like, can't you? As Hulk Hogan defeated the Giant in a shite match to retain the WC title. This is one of those special matches, you know, I like to call a foregone conclusion match. Why do we call it that? Because like Hogan was ever going to lose the title on an NWO themed show? Come on, really? Naturally, Hogan has tons of pyro, Major League ass-kissing intro, and in one of those bits that I just get really baffled about. Bearing in mind this show was nowhere near Dallas. He has a few of the Dallas Cowboys with him. Don't know why. No idea. Apparently, I mean, are they bad people? Were they bad people in 1997? Had they won something? I don't know. I don't follow American football. But it just bugs me when companies do this. I understand that it's an American company in America, but if it's an international pay-per-view, why do shit like this? That in other countries just goes straight over their heads. Because it does with me. I have so little interest in American football, it's unbelievable. I have no, if it's your sport of choice, good for you. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad it is your sport of choice. Me, I'm a soccer or proper football fan. I'm not interested in American football in the slightest. But one of the things I'm pretty sure that a pay-per-view wouldn't do if it was emanating live from England would be to talk about fucking English soccer. Because it just it goes straight over your heads. Because it'd be like, what the fuck? NFL just doesn't have the following over here for things like that to make sense. Anyway, so the background to this one is the Giant had won World War III in 1996. He'd asked for a WCW World Title shot, so because the NWO were so thrilled about this, they kicked him out, which means that the Giant, in the 6 months since the NWO had formed, he'd joined and left the NWO. Yay. Anyway, so Hogan controls from the start, healing up something fierce as he used to do. Giant comes back by ramming Hogan, and one of the Cowboys heads into the guardrail. Then they counters an inside cradle into a nice slam attack. That was pretty nice actually, because he's got Hogan Hogan sort of tries to inside cradle him, and Giant's down like this and sort of picked him up and scoop slams him. Yeah, that was a nice little touch. Hogan then throws powder into the eyes of the Giant, then chokes Giant with a belt. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until Hogan hits a leg drop, which Giant completely no-sells. He hits the choke slam, but Nick Patrick won't count the 3 because he's got the dodgy shoulder, hasn't he? Then the fans pelt the ring while Giant choke slams Nick Patrick. The NWO do the running, and the B Squad members, like the ones we've seen tonight, so for example Michael Wallstreet and Big Bubba, get choke slammed themselves. Hogan uses a guitar to stop Giant as the fans roar, and I mean roar. This is the loudest heat the whole thing's had all night. We want Sting. Over and over again, getting louder and louder and louder. Unfortunately, Sting doesn't come out. The NWO spray paint the Giant, and that closes the show. Now, this one is such a hard one to rate, I promise you this, because, admittedly, in the ring, this one wasn't great. 4 duds in this one, because that's what that main event gets. 4 in-ring duds, yeah? But you have a 2-star match on there, you have a 3-star match, and you have a 3.5-star match. So we've got to push the rating up. What I will say about this one is that in theory, this was a good idea. No one had done it before, and this was so different to anything that had been done in wrestling before. But, so, it's recommended, believe it or not. If you have never seen this show, what I will say is go and watch it, because it's just an interesting concept. What I would like to say though is that it was very clear by this point that the NWO was very, very watered down. What had started as an elite core group of guys, Hogan, I tried to say Hall and Hogan at the same time there. Hogan, Hall, Nash, DiBiase and Syxx, I think, when the core, maybe the Giant, the core guys. But then when they just started letting any fucker in, I mean, looking on the evidence that you've seen tonight, Michael Wallstreet, really? Big Bubba Rogers, no need, etc, 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 etc. There were so many people in there that were just like, oh, fuck off. Really, really, really does. The crowd hated it. The crowd hated everything about this whole show. Buyrate suggests that the general public weren't interested, but like I say, as an experiment and as a one-off, go and give it a watch, because this one is worth watching. If just so you can say you've seen it. I mean, I like to consider myself a wrestling historian. I'm always interested in watching stuff I've never seen before, and so I as much as I was watching this, going, oh, for God's sake, and so when bad stuff was going on, I was like, God, will this please end? But at the same time, I was fascinated by watching this, because think about what would happen if it had been good. We could have been getting NWO and WCW pay-per-views every month. It wouldn't be until 2003 that the WWE started putting on 2 pay-per-views a month. This was years ahead of its time. Realistically, it failed, but at the end of the day, it was a gamble, and they were in a position to be able to take that gamble. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of 97th Heaven. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to know what you thought of this show down here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I will be back soon for another episode of 97th Heaven, and I will see you all very soon. Take it easy, guys, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.